So the economy is beginning a nice recovery. We need it to continue. The last thing you want to do is to slap a bunch of taxes on the economy right now and have the economy go down and have workers, in particular, bear the brunt of that. My question is, why would you want to throw out a tax code that has helped fuel this unprecedented economic recovery we saw pre-pandemic and brought in more money in the process? In 2017, with this tax reform, we helped usher in an economy powered by workers and powered by small businesses and powered by more competitive, larger businesses. It wasn't powered by big spending here in Washington, D.C. The results worked. It was truly historic. Moving ahead, let's stay the course. Instead of hiking taxes and putting a damper on American prosperity and American opportunity for everybody to get ahead, a massive tax increase won't make us build back better. A massive tax increase will tear down what makes us better. I yield back my time.
Mr. President. The senator from Minnesota.
Mr. President, are we in quorum call?
No.
Okay, Mr. President, I come to the floor to speak in support of very important new legislation, the Freedom to Vote Act, that I introduced yesterday with the members of the Voting Rights Working Group assembled by Leader Schumer, which includes Senator Manchin, Senator Merkley, who's here with us today on the floor, who's been such a leader on voting issues, including the For the People Act, Senator Padilla, Senator King, Kaine, Tester, and Warnock. The freedom to vote is fundamental to all of our freedoms. Following the 2020 elections, in which more Americans voted than ever before in the middle of a public health crisis, we have seen unprecedented attacks on our democracy in states across the country. These attacks demand an immediate federal response. The Freedom to Vote Act will set basic national standards to make sure all Americans can cast their ballots in the way that works best for them, regardless of what zip code they live in. I want to thank Senator Schumer for his leadership in pulling together our working group that got this legislation across the finish line, and as I mentioned, Senator Merkley and Manchin for their work on this crucial bill. It has been over 8 months since that violent mob of insurrectionists stormed through this very spot and desecrated our Capitol, the temple of our democracy. They opened the desk in this chamber. They got up and sat at that desk where you are sitting now, Mr. President. It was an attack on our republic. And as I said from the inaugural stage just 2 weeks later, under that beautiful blue sky, at the very place where you could still see the spray paint at the bottom of the columns and the makeshift windows behind us, this is the day our democracy picks itself up, brushes off the dust, and does what America always does, goes forward as a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We took back our democracy that day, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, all sitting at that platform, seeing a new president and vice president be inaugurated. We took back our democracy that day, and we will take it back this day with this new bill, with the support of 78% of Americans who favor 2 weeks of early voting, a very important provision in this bill, and 83% of voters who support public disclosures of all contributions. We will take it back again from those who are trying to take away people's constitutional right to vote. With over 400 bills introduced in nearly every state to limit the freedom to vote, we can't simply sit back and watch our democracy be threatened again. Whether it is threatened with bear spray and crowbars and axes, or long lines, or the elimination of ballot boxes, or the secret money, it is still under siege. When we are faced with a coordinated effort across the country to limit the freedom to vote, we must stand up and do what is right. Sometimes people say, what is going on? It worked so well during the pandemic, during a public health crisis. More people have voted than ever before. Well, that is because they voted by mail. That has become some states, both blue state and red state, change their laws to make it easier to vote while still protecting the sanctity of the vote. So why is this happening? Well, I think our colleague, Senator